We teach men how to make a lot of money. We teach men to build an amazing physique. We teach men how to flirt with girls. Yes. But who teaches men to actually feel good enough? Because if you're someone that had success with your business, maybe, or in your career, or maybe you had success with girls, right? You can get laid a lot, or maybe you have an amazing physique. Maybe after all these results, you might still feel not good enough. And this is the most mind blowing experience that you can ever have in your life because you've done the work, right? Like you worked your ass off to make six figures, right? You worked your ass off to go to the gym and build this amazing physique. You worked your ass off to make your Tinder profile like super optimal, to approach women consistently in the streets, bars, and clubs, and you develop this social charisma, yet you still don't feel good enough. And that's very simple, right? Feeling good enough has not much to do, it has to do a little bit, but not much to do with what you do. It has everything to do, or almost everything, with what's happening internally, right? Because it doesn't matter how much you achieve if there is a part of you that doesn't feel adequate. $1 million, the amazing physique, picking up all the hottest women will just not be enough for this part. There will always be this voice of like, that's not enough. We can do more. We can work more. We can do this more. And it's just a trap that pretty much everyone is in at the moment I'm speaking. This is a real sickness in our society. And the crazy part about this, and this is from a teacher that I have been listening a few years ago, Master Doshi Nelson, he mentioned that unworthiness, inadequacy, was not really present a few hundred years ago, right? I'm talking like maybe 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago, maybe 2,000 years ago, right? Like a long time ago. It was not really, really present. Inadequacy really started to become widespread. I'm talking widespread, yeah, even among the most successful people, right? Really, when the industrial era has really started, and now with social media, it's becoming even more. When we look at the young people now, they deal with so much stuff, right? It's insane the level of inadequacy that is happening within the young people nowadays. So it's a real issue, and not a lot of people actually talk about dealing with this directly. People say like, oh yeah, if you work out, go to the gym, you will feel better. And that's true too in some way, right? You might feel a little better if you go work out. People say, yeah, if you make a lot of money, you'll finally be happy. But the truth is, happiness, feeling good enough, comes from within yourself. So you have to deal with that directly, right? So in this video, I want to share with you two ways to work to actually have a practice to start genuinely feeling good enough inside of yourself. And you will see it's simple, but complicated. It's never super easy. Let's put it like this. There's some work that you need to put into, but it's simple. It can really be simple, but there's a level of complexity as well. So on one side, what you want to do is to identify all the voices, all the parts of yourself that led you to believe that you don't feel good enough, right? And it's not just one part, it's probably a multiple, we can call it like almost like a family. If you're familiar with the IFS, internal family system, I think it's a really good approach to look at your internal world, because There is a family inside of you in terms of your emotions, your thoughts, your beliefs, and stuff like that. It's a family, right? And certain people in your family do not think that you should be good enough. So you need to deal with them directly, right? And do not look at these parts of yourself as your enemy. Because as soon as you will look at this part of yourself as your enemy, they will fight even more. They will be even more present in your body, in your system, whatever you call it. So you want to really come from a place of non-judgment, really open, really compassionate, really curious, like you're genuinely curious about why does this part of me doesn't think that I should be good enough. And you will be surprised by what this part of you or these different parts of you will tell you when you will genuinely connect with them and allow them to speak for themselves, right? So this is not schizophrenia, right? You're not like talking to yourself, even though you're talking to yourself in a way, right? But you're basically letting the emotion, the limiting belief, the thought speaking for itself, right? And it's very powerful because you start understanding yourself on a much deeper level. Instead of ignoring these aspects of yourself that led you to believe that you're not good enough, now you're listening to them. And you will see that there are certain moments in your life, especially in your childhood, that were really painful, right? You experienced a form of trauma. So maybe not like a war trauma, rape or abuse or neglect, maybe not this level of trauma, but maybe you experience maybe we can call it like a smaller form of trauma, even though for the child, maybe it was really painful, right? This you don't know, right? You have to ask the child back then. Maybe for him, it was really painful. And you will be so surprised that there are numerous stories in your life that basically forced you almost to not feel good enough, right? And you will be so enlightened by looking at the stories because sometimes you don't even remember. And you'll be looking at this like image that pops into your mind, or this story, or this, whatever it is that pops into your reality, and you'll be very surprised. That's when you retrieve a memory, right? And then what you want to do is to rewrite this limiting belief, this limiting story, this limiting thought, this limiting emotion, right? You don't want to get stuck into that. You want to rewrite that. And this is a very, very subtle process that I do not want to talk about here in a video because it's not that simple. Like I said, it's a bit complex. And if I teach you the whole process right now in this video, you will probably get lost and hurt yourself more than anything. And I don't want this to happen. So I will not tell you exactly how it works. This is more something that is happening in my mentoring program. Now, you don't have to join my mentoring program. You can, go to a therapist that is specialized with this kind of stuff. Maybe this person can help. So I'm not saying that you should just join my mentoring, right? Even though it can be really helpful. A lot of men are joining and they really enjoy the experience. You can go to my Facebook page and see reviews. A lot of my clients are happy with the service I give them. But yeah, there needs to be this rewriting, right? This rewiring happening. You don't want to just witness these painful moments that led you to believe to not feel good enough, right? Because a lot of teaching of healing, psychology, they tell you to witness from a place of compassion, love, and everything, and that's enough. No, you need to rewrite. You need to rewire this blockage, right? If you don't do that, you will still be stuck in not feeling good enough, right? And that's why a lot of the healing is badly seen, is because they stop at just being this compassionate, curious, open person retrieving the memory and just witnessing it like this, right? But it's not enough. You need to do more. You need to go a little bit deeper. You need to rewrite that. I hope that makes sense. So this is one aspect of the work, right? You want to clean up all the blockages, all the limiting beliefs, all the thoughts that led you to believe that you don't feel good enough. That's one aspect of the work that is very necessary. The second aspect of the work is for you to connect directly with the feeling of I am good enough, right? If every day you sit and you close your eyes and you actually feel what it feels like to be good enough. And this might be difficult at the beginning because you don't know how it feels like. But if you can remember a specific moment in your life when you felt like this, then you can come back to this feeling and you can feel it every day, right? And this can be a hardcore practice for a lot of you because it might be hard to be consistent. But if you can be consistent with that, it can be extremely beneficial. If you can connect with the feeling of really like, I am good enough, no matter what I do, I am good enough. If I get rejected by this woman, I am good enough. If I don't hit my goal in my business, I am good enough. If I don't hit my PR tomorrow, I'm still good enough, right? If you can really connect with this feeling of like, I am adequate, I am worthy, I am good enough. And you can really let this feeling spread out all over your body to the point that it enters every single cell. Then you will see that the neuroplasticity will actually start doing its work. And new neurons pathways will happen, will be created, right? This is a reality. This is possible, right? It is proven by science. The neuroplasticity doesn't go away as you after 25. I think that's what people say. After 25 years old, you don't have any more neuroplasticity. That is not true. Neuroplasticity is throughout your whole life, which means you can build new neuron pathways, which means that your reality can be altered internally and externally, right? And if you connect with that feeling and let it like really spread out all over your body, and at the same time you do the rewiring of all these blockages, you will see that you will become a different person that actually feels good enough. This is a very real reality. It can be your reality. I'm not kidding here. And as you can see, it's a bit of work. Like I said, it's not that easy, even though it's simple. I gave you the steps, right? There's some work to do. You will need to work with someone that can hold space for you as well, that can see your blind spots, because doing this by yourself is going to be almost impossible. And remember, we are humans. We are social creatures. So it's very normal to go into this self-development with other people, right? You're not by yourself. You're not a lone wolf. This whole idea of being a lone wolf is an illusion. You cannot be a better version of yourself just by yourself, right? You need mentors. You need other people to give you a different perspective, right? This is very important. And you need people especially to show you your blind spots, right? Especially like when you work with your internal blockages, with your limiting beliefs, with this like parts of yourself that tell you that you don't feel good enough. It's really hard sometimes to recognize them. So you need someone that has a bit of experience, that can hold space for you, and that can recognize these parts and show it to you, like bring it back to the surface. And then you can shine light to it, right? You can rewire these limiting beliefs. And you will see that you will start to feel good enough for your ideal woman. And this is really the secret to keep a relationship in the long term and healthy, where you still feel attracted to each other after 1 year being together, right? Where you have less drama or healthy drama, yeah? Where you respect each other, where there is no cheating involved. This is a relationship that can be a reality, but you have to do the work to feel good enough. Because when you will feel good enough, you will attract a different kind of woman that if you would not feel good enough, you would actually go for your type. You would not tolerate behaviors that, let's imagine you start entering in a relationship and you start noticing like she's gaslighting you, she's a little bit manipulative, she's hiding certain stuff. A lot of men stay in this relationship, but if you feel good enough, there is no way you stay in a relationship like this. So you remove all the toxicity out of your life and you give yourself more space to have your ideal woman next to you. And that's a possible reality, but you have to do the internal work, right? And it starts with removing these blockages, or in other words, to integrate them, right? And to tap into this feeling of feeling good enough, right? And you'll see that sooner or later you'll become really the best version of yourself, right? Thank you for watching, my brother. I hope you're enjoying this, and I see you on the next video. Peace.